Traders, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about AMC, one of your favorite stocks. We saw a quick little pump, and you know that leads us to wonder, is it time to send it? Now, in this video, I'm going over, obviously, the AMC chart, a stock that I traded today, and something I'm looking at tomorrow as well. But tomorrow, all eyes are focused on AMC's chart because earnings are Monday, and it's looking very, very enticing. So let's not waste any more time. Like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. Let's get to it.
I got no drip in my pocket. Must have forgot it, or maybe I.
All right, so what I'm gonna do first is go over the AMC chart. Then after that, I will cover the other two charts. If you're only interested in AMC, that is first, and you can skip to the end of the video for kind of the summarization of everything. All right, so what we're gonna do is take a quick look at AMC first. I'll go into a play that I'm looking into tomorrow, and then I will also go into my play that I played today, specifically kind of with infrastructure news and stuff like that, and just break it down for a teaching perspective. But first, let's get into AMC. So starting with AMC, we got exactly what you really wanted. This is what we talked about yesterday, and I wasn't worried at all. The reason to be worried would have been where we ended the week or kind of where we went into earnings at. But you saw we came down here, we started the day, we quickly popped back up after this immediate dump. And it was worth mentioning, we popped up at open and came right back down. People were asking, my buying calls in? The answer is still no. I keep saying in every video, I'm waiting till Friday, near the end of the trading day. And I'll explain why here in a second. But really what you're seeing is a strong push back. You even had kind of a test in this little lower block of 31.2. I mentioned 31.5, but it was like 31.5, 32.5, where I really saw that momentum where we needed to hold above. And ultimately, you saw the price action just trending there, and you saw the struggle to get back above it. Break down, test, came back down, push back up. Like, you can clearly see that these levels matter. And this is what I really want to reiterate to people, that it's not so much about these crazy indicators and all these crazy signs people are looking at. If you just take a step back and you take a look at the chart, it's easy and less stressful to look at, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to go into a larger time scale in probably the next video going into the weekend and things like that. I just want to cover what I want to happen tomorrow and worry about the short term right now. And I also want to come back to the fact that you don't need to look at these giant indicators on a very large scale, in my opinion, because in my personal perspective of AMC, I'm so long-term bullish on this based on what's happening. Now, unless the total trend changed, then I would have to take a step back and kind of look at my theory. But as of right now, I love where we are, and this wasn't concerning unless we hit that key point. So people that are looking at just all these crazy indicators, saying that we have 30 billion shares out there or whatever's happening, you can't prove that, and there's no reason to just step behind that and focus on that, because you're ultimately trading based on pure speculation and pure hopes and dreams. And typically when you take a step into hopes and dreams, you typically lose that money. So going into here, this is what I saw, right? You get that clear break and hold of this range. Now going into tomorrow, now some people might not want to hear this, but what I think and what I assume will happen, I think you'll trend in this range sideways, maybe come back down to 31, 32. It's worth mentioning a lot of options are between $32 and $30, puts and calls. So that's going to be a key area that I suspect that we kind of test tomorrow. Now, does that mean we have to test that area tomorrow? Absolutely not. That really is the baseline of what I'm looking at. But all I want to see, in my opinion, is just trending in this zone. Maybe we push to 35. I doubt it. I don't think that's coming. I mentioned it to start this week. I didn't see an upside for us. I saw more downside, and then to end the week, more stagnation. And that's really what you're getting into Wednesday. Pure downside, and now we're just going to stagnate sideways, in my opinion, going into Friday. Now, on Monday after hours is when we have our earnings. So I've kind of took a lot of thought and deliberation to what I'm going to do specifically with options. And I don't think I'm going to post a video until after hours tomorrow, but I will have Twitter, of course. So if you follow me on Twitter, the link's down below, you'll get all the information. I'm most likely entering my calls at the end of the day tomorrow. I've been really contemplating between waiting until Monday and waiting until tomorrow, which is Friday. And I think Friday is going to be the best bet tomorrow, just so I don't miss out on any gap up. So let's say you kind of move like this going into tomorrow, and you end the day, and I enter calls right here, and then you gap up Monday morning and maybe test that level, and you kind of come down, you teeter-totter back and forth. Now, I could quickly get out of those calls, and I could re-enter on a dip, or I have a lot of options that's worth mentioning, and I don't see too much IV crush coming from earnings either. So that's why I'm thinking about that. I just want to have more options for this play as far as my option goes, right? So I want to be flexible with this, and I don't want to be forced into a position where I'm going to lose a lot of money, right? Because I intend on fully playing this with a heavier stack and a little bit more dated rather than my usual calls, maybe 2 to 3 weeks out. That's how I'm going to be playing this. So ultimately, what I'm going to see on the shorter term, maybe 1.5 weeks, I want to see a retest of 41, 41.5, and then a retest of 52. Now, these are kind of bigger targets for me when it comes out like this. I typically don't give time frames, but I think we're going to start an uptrend. And I mentioned this yesterday in the Discord, is you were seeing that bottoming out right there. The way we were flatlining at the end of the day yesterday was huge, and I think we're seeing it. You're seeing us mount the VWAP. We're probably going to come down, test the VWAP once again tomorrow, probably hold this weekly level here, this 33, maybe come and test that monthly. But I think we're holding. I think you're in the clear. I think you look extremely strong. More updates coming on AMC, but let's get to the next chart. Okay, so this is the chart that I want to look at for tomorrow and a trade that I'm going to be looking at. Now, I'm trying to give everyone a play every single day when it comes to these videos of other stocks you could be looking at. And if you don't know, today, Biden kind of signed that executive order regarding the Made in America EV, right? Trying to get to 50% by 2030, all vehicles are electric. Now, if you watch the press conference, if you watch the whole event, Ford was there, Jeep was there, Hummer was there. There was Hyundai, I believe, Toyota. All these car manufacturers were there. But the company that wasn't there was Tesla. Now, Tesla, Elon Musk operates a little bit differently. That's obviously everyone knows that. But I do think that there's potential. You break down and you start coming down towards 700, 702, this range here. I think 680, 690 is a huge support. You really haven't had a retest of that. You kind of had it here, I guess. But I do think there's potential for this to come down. I'm not overly pushing myself into this. I think it's just something that's definitely worth looking at. If you start breaking out to the upside, I think you're gonna hit 740, 750 in a hurry. So just watch this breakout here. As of right now, indexes do look very strong. I would not be surprised if you break to the downside. I want that to be very, very clear. But if you start holding VWAP early in the day here, I do think you get a strong push up to 730, 740. But if you hold it underneath the VWAP for a few of the hours, I do project you get a push down to 700, maybe even 690, 680. I would keep that on your radar. And, obviously Tesla's a pretty hot play. You can make a lot of the options there. So typically I'm able to give you more option plays and other plays I'm looking at. But unfortunately today I can't because I just didn't have any plays I really liked going into tomorrow. It's going to be more of reacting to how the market moves, and I'm really watching AMC. But with Caterpillar, this is something that I traded today here in the group. Now, I watched Boeing, and I missed Boeing, and everyone in the Discord, a lot of them actually played because I live stream on the Discord typically the whole trading day. I'm in and out all day long. I'll tell people if I'm taking breaks and stuff like that. But it's just kind of, you get to ask me questions and see my view on the market, stocks I'm liking, trades I'm interested in getting in and out of. And what I saw here at the open was a strong push on CAT, and then you came back down. Now, it's worth mentioning their earnings were phenomenal. If you don't know anything about Caterpillar, they're one of the keystones of the new infrastructure bill, and they're out of stock everywhere. There's huge amounts of demand. They're going to do very well in the coming weeks, the rest of the year most likely. And the Senate is supposed to do the vote on the bill Saturday. That's really big news. So I projected Caterpillar is extremely undervalued right now. If you just take a look and zoom out, it's far from all those all-time highs. You have plenty of room to go back up. Easily could test 220 in the next week and a half. Honestly, very quickly. This is easy 2-3x on options. I'm not going to lie. I love it. So looking here, I played this as a day trade just for today, and then I got out of it at the end of the day because of what was happening with infrastructure as far as EV, and I knew momentum would shift in the Dow towards EV. So Ford and GM are moving more, and then obviously Boeing, Caterpillar are slowing down, but Caterpillar is going to do well. Keep this on your radar. So what I was looking at, you had that breakup, and then you came down below the daily, and then you reclaimed VWAP, and then you trended the rest of the day. Now, this is about where I entered about 206 flat when you retested the VWAP here. And a lot of people are asking me, what'd you see? What was your projection? What made you really get into this? And it comes down to fundamentals a lot in my plays. I use charts a lot. Yes, I use charts. And charts really tell me when I'm going to get in and when I'm going to get out. But when I'm picking my plays, it revolves solely around what's moving in the market and what is hot. And right now, infrastructure is hot. In the beginning of the year, it was all Nasdaq and tech, and that's all I traded. But right now, it's really shifting towards infrastructure and all these Dow stocks because they're moving so predictably, right? So with Caterpillar, you mounted that VWAP and you've just been trending all day long. I ended up selling around 207.40, made off 22% on profits there. Some people up 40%. They got in a little bit of entries than me, but overall, you're looking very, very good. You probably can come up and test 208, but once you break this 208 range, just so everyone knows, I project you're going to get absolutely bullish. And a great example of this is take a look at Boeing and what it's doing. So Boeing struggled. It's a very similar chart in my opinion. You shot up, you came rejected, and then once you really mounted that level, now you're flagging, now you're pushing up, now you're mounting VWAP. Boeing has tons of room to go too. 236, this 240 region. That's coming very soon for Boeing as well. Both of these companies have a lot of stuff going for them, but ultimately, people are always asking me, how do you find your place? It comes back down to having knowledge on the market, knowledge on where the money's moving, which sector gives me the best potential to win, even without the charts. So if I just blindly put my money into a sector, which would be the best one to go, even if the charts had nothing to do with it? I want to always give myself the best edge possible, no matter what the market's looking like. So if the market is just bearish, then I'm probably going to trade on the downside, and I'm going to look at which sector is getting hurt the most or which charts just look the best. All right, so breaking on AMC, this is what I like to see. It sucks that utilization isn't a little bit higher, and it also sucks that the borrow fee isn't higher either. But it's worth mentioning FTDs have to start covering those positions starting tomorrow. And I think it rolls into like the 13th or 14th. I could be wrong. That's not really my focus on AMC. I'm the chart guy, the best in the business. I'm just kidding, don't attack me. But I will say, going into tomorrow and why I'm holding off on buying my options today was solely for the purpose of where the options are sitting at right now. A lot of volume is sitting between $30 and $32. So I would have to assume and figure that they're going to pin the price around that range, so that wouldn't lead us to take off or really dump back down. And if we do dump down, then I would just buy the dip for the options, because I do suspect an uptrend to start. I also showed you that bottoming out that we were looking at yesterday, and it looks like we really did in fact bottom out. I love everything that's happening. You're holding those key supports. You're seeing exactly the price action that you want to see. I'm always talking about not forcing entries, and it's looking like you're not going to have to force anything. It's just smooth selling from here, or so I hope. If you have any questions, comment down below. I think I covered everything to the best of my ability, but I will try to answer questions as they come in. Like, subscribe, do what you got to do. We'll be back tomorrow, boys. Namaste.
Don't got enough to go cop it. I'm about to take off like a rocket.